So the Steam Deck just turned 2 years old, and in today's video I want to tell you why I think the Steam Deck is the biggest thing that ever happened to the gaming community in the past couple of years. Now, this might come up as a big statement, but trust me, I do believe that the Steam Deck is something that no other console or accessory has been doing for the gaming community in the past couple of years, and Steam Deck was the thing that managed to do this. And I am talking about here about handheld gaming, but not only. I do think that gaming was a bit stale at some point, and the Steam Deck and handheld gaming managed to bring up new opportunities. I know a lot of gamers out there who have stopped playing games because they have big consoles, big PCs, and they didn't have any time left to do a bit of gaming, and handheld consoles were the things that brought them back. And I love hearing all these kind of stories. And I even have a couple of friends that managed to get back into gaming because one of these consoles, like the Steam Deck, Nintendo Switch, and some others. Now, the Steam Deck is not the first and certainly not the last console that is doing all these things, but I do think that the Steam Deck was the stepping stone for all of this. Now, I did mention in my previous video about the Nintendo Switch 2 that I think that's the critical point where the handheld gaming started to grow a bit, but the Steam Deck and having a really big company like Valve creating a dedicated handheld device, I think this was the turning point, and all of the other companies started to realize that handheld gaming is not dead. Sony was wrong when they killed off PlayStation Vita. Mobile gaming is not the best, and it will not replace anytime soon the proper PC gaming. So the time is now, and I think we don't really need any more evidence that PC gaming and handheld gaming, it's becoming something quite big, and I love to see this. Now, as I said, the Steam Deck may not be the first one to do this, but having a really big company like Valve made others believe there is trust in this kind of handheld gamings, and considering that Valve is also the owner of Steam, so one of the biggest, if not the biggest launcher out there, meant that more and more companies will go in on this. The developers actually managed to adapt their games to be running smoother on the Steam Deck, so everything was aligning, more and more companies were joining, and of course this had to follow with newer consoles coming out there, and that's why we had the follow-up with the ROG Ally, the Legion Go. Now we also have the MSI Cloud that will coming out in a couple of weeks or months, and there are not signs that this will stop anytime soon. I actually know a lot of people on the internet, but also close friends, that have replaced their big PCs with a device like the Steam Deck because it's so much comfortable, it's so much easier to pick it up and just play some games on the couch or take it on the go, or simply continue your saves from your big PC on the Steam Deck. So there are so many things that you can do, and I will get back to those ones in a bit, because 2 years of developing for the Steam Deck, things have changed quite a lot, and there are a lot of new things out there, so we'll talk about those ones. But as I said, more and more companies are joining this market. And the Steam Deck, believe it or not, even after 2 years, it's one of the best selling handheld consoles out there. And it's actually pretty hard for me not to recommend still the Steam Deck, because it pretty much does almost everything. Again, I'll get back to the negative in a minute, but it's simple and it just works. Is it the best out there? Well, actually no. You can find other consoles that are more powerful than the Steam Deck, but it's just something about this device and the SteamOS itself, the simplicity, just pick it up and play everything, it's right there. That's the main key aspect of the Steam Deck. So that's why I still love the Steam Deck, and that's why I'm still coming back to it. I'll agree that I play more and more on the ROG Ally because a couple of differences, but the experience on playing on the Steam Deck is so much smoother, and actually you can find some games that run better on the Steam Deck even though the hardware is more limited than the one on the ROG Ally. And that's because companies still believe in it. They optimize their games for the Steam Deck, and especially if you go to Steam library, then you may find games that run better on this than on the ROG Ally or the Legion Go. I actually had a couple of friends recently who have been asking me, which one do you recommend? And after I made a really big list about the pros and the cons of each console, it was pretty hard for me to recommend one or the other, because it's up to you which one is for your needs, which type of games you want to play, which kind of things are more important for you, screen, battery life, portability, and all that. So if you want a short answer, which is the console to get in 2024, it's actually not that easy to say. but believe me, you will not go wrong with either one of them. But the Steam Deck, and especially the OLED one, which now has a really good screen, or even the older refurbished one, because Valve also has a refurbished program now, you can get this for really cheap. And if you just want to have something to play games on, then it's hard not to recommend the Steam Deck. And especially for those prices, I highly recommend you checking those out. Now, 2 years of Steam Deck. What has changed in these past 2 years? What kind of improvements have we made to the Steam Deck? And where are we comparing now with 2 years ago? So as I said, the Steam Deck came with big waves, and companies were all gathering to join the market and developing games and hardware and accessories and all that. It was clear that the Steam Deck will sell out pretty good, and actually it was pretty hard to find them in stock for a couple of months, and at some point they were going again out of stock. So it was pretty hard to find the Steam Deck, but if you were patient enough, then at some point you could get one in stock. So ever since the beginning, the Steam Deck was a big deal. Before it even came out, people were excited. Having the option to continue on playing your games from your big PC on a handheld, it was something that a lot of people out there wanted. Me, for instance, I haven't been a PC gamer since like 10 years ago. I'm a more relaxed couch type of gamer, so that's why I have my consoles like the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series S. So having a dedicated handheld device that plays PC gaming, it was a dream come true for me. And I picked one up ever since day one. I was in the first batch to get this one. Well, thanks to one of my friends who managed to give me his model, and then we switched with my model. So ever since the beginning, there were multiple type of people that actually wanted one of these consoles. If you've never been a PC gamer, now it was the perfect time to do it, as I was. I started my Steam library almost from scratch, so that was pretty fun, and my wallet wasn't happy. But as you can see, I have been growing my library more and more, and I'm happy that I can play so many new titles that I have been missing for a while now. So if you are like me, then having a Steam Deck, it was a must. And that's why we had other companies like Asus or Lenovo who saw the opportunity, saw that the Steam Deck was doing great. They knew that this will not stop anytime soon, and of course they joined the market. And there are rumors already about a Steam Deck 2, ROG Ally 2 already, so I think that things will not slow down anytime soon. Okay, so we talked a lot about the history and what the Steam Deck has brought to the table, but also what happened in these past 2 years. What kind of support did we get? What kind of changes were made to the Steam Deck? So let's cover a couple of these ones. So first of all, the software. It has been improving a lot ever since day one. Valve is releasing upgrades to their drivers, and they are bringing improvements to their console. So we also have a beta program where you can join and you can have all the latest releases. They have been doing improvements for the Steam OS, the desktop mode as well. Valve hasn't slowed down, and they have been bringing new features, and they have been actually listening to the community, and whenever they saw there are some third-party applications that were improving the Steam Deck, then they also considered that one, and they have been bringing those ones as well to the table. For example, being able to change the saturation and the colors. There are a few tools out there that will allow you to do this, but also Valve managed to bring this to the table as a first-party thing. So I'm happy that the Valve is listening to the users, because this is the best approach, and this is the only way that the Steam Deck can improve a lot better and a lot faster. But there are also third-party support, because there are a lot of applications out there that were released for the Steam Deck, and I have a few that I really prefer, and I have made a bunch of videos about it. First of all, there are some other launchers, so you can still play games from other launchers like Epic or EA or whatever. And one of my favorites is Epic as well, besides the Steam library. And there is actually a really easy on how to use your Epic library on the Steam Deck. You simply have to install a third-party launcher. It's called Heroic. I made a couple of videos about it already, and I have been using ever since. And I think like 90% of the games from Epic are working on the Steam Deck. There are a couple of exceptions to one of the limitations which I really hope that can improve, and I'm talking about the anti-cheat software. As you may know, Linux, because SteamOS is based on Linux, doesn't support anti-cheat software quite yet, which is required for online gaming, because in this way you will know if someone has any hacks to their games, so they don't have any advantages, and that one is not available on Linux. So hopefully we should see that one soon. There are some workarounds for a couple of games, for example Fall Guys, which is an epic first party title. I have been playing that a lot on my Steam Deck, and I even made a tutorial video right over here. You can check that one out, and it's really easy to do. It's a one-time thing and then you're good to go, but it's not really plug and play, but that's only for a couple of games. Now, there are some other third-party applications out there. There is, for example, CreaTools, which I also made a video about, which allows you to change a lot of different aspects related to saturation, contrast, optimization, and all that. There is a template, like plug-and-play one, with suggestions that you can use from scratch, but you can also change it to however you want. So if you are that type of guy who likes to play around with settings, then you can go ahead and do that. But that's actually a really important application for your Steam Deck, which gives you a bit more customization that you normally get with the Steam Deck. Now, all this kind of installation of third-party applications is done through desktop mode, which was actually improved quite a lot recently. And with a couple of accessories, you can actually use the desktop mode of the Steam Deck as a full-fledged PC. And I actually have done that quite a lot in the past. Not anymore, because now the ROG Ally is sitting here on my desk, and you probably see it right over there. I use that one as a full PC, but you can still use the Steam Deck as a Linux operating system. And I made so many accessories video about the Steam Deck, and you can check those ones out. And you can use those ones to turn your Steam Deck in a full-fledged PC. And desktop mode is actually not that bad. If you are familiar with Windows, it's pretty much the same. Of course, things will differ a bit, but the experience is pretty similar, so I know you'll do great with it. So maybe just give it a shot. I know that you may like that one. And talking about accessories, that's actually another good sign that the Steam Deck was doing good, because ever since the beginning we had so many accessories that were released for the Steam Deck, and there were some pretty well-known companies that made accessories out there already who have been doing cases or docks or whatever for the Steam Deck. But then we saw some newer companies that joined the market, and they have been releasing the amazing accessories. We have docks, we have cases, we have portable chargers, we even have backplates, transparent ones like this one, and I have the purple one over here. I made a video about it. It's actually pretty interesting. I went ahead and done this a while back actually, and I still have kept this one because I really enjoy how this looks like. So as you can see, the Steam Deck has been growing with accessory support, and one of my favorite accessories, as I said before, for using it as a full-fledged PC, I am using a couple of docks, and I have a bunch of different ones. You can check all those videos out, and you have plain ones, cheap ones, more expensive ones. It depends on your needs. You can even get external SSD support, and that's one of my favorites actually, and you can even install Windows on that one. So let me get a bit in that topic. Now, you can actually install Windows on your Steam Deck. That may beat the purpose of all of this, because SteamOS, it's really simplistic. It's a plug and play type of operating system, and I really want to keep on using that one. So that's why officially I haven't installed Windows directly on my Steam Deck yet. You can actually do a dual boot if you want to. Then you can also install Windows on your SD card if that's something you would like. But I went a different route and actually installed Windows on a portable SSD that I can put in one of these docks that I have been using. And then you can boot your Steam Deck from your USB-C, and that will take you to this Windows, which is actually portable Windows. For most part, it works pretty well, but that's more in line with doing some other things, and you can still play games, don't get me wrong, but the limitations are definitely there. So if you compare the regular SteamOS with the Windows, the portable versions, then the experience will definitely be different. Now, because I'm talking about Linux, SteamOS, and Windows, let's talk about the limitations as well. Now, I mentioned this already, but the biggest limitation is related to the type of games that you want to play on your Steam Deck. If you're good with the Steam and maybe Epic library, and you don't care about Fortnite, because Fortnite on the SteamOS, it's a no-go, as much as I tried, believe me, I want to make tutorials about that one, I wasn't able to do it in the end. At least not something pretty functional that I can recommend. So if you know you are playing these kind of games and they are not available on Steam Deck, then I would reconsider, I will go for a different console like the ROG Ally instead. I know that you may still be able to put those games on the Steam Deck, but that beats the purpose of all of this, and then you're probably better off with the ROG Ally, if you also consider the limitations of that one as well. Now, when it comes to the operating system, SteamOS and Windows, SteamOS, it's actually a lot better when it comes to gaming itself. It's a lot simpler, your library is there on the spot, it's a more console-like experience, so it just works. When it comes to Windows, having it also on a smaller screen is not the best approach, but then again you can do so many other things with Windows, and actually you can use the Steam application in full desktop mode and you'll pretty much get a similar experience as you do on the Steam OS. But then Windows also adds support for all the other different launchers, and one of my favorite things is having the support for Game Pass. So in the end, I think that's the biggest selling point between the two operating systems. It comes to the games and the simplicity that you want. It's hard for me to recommend, but just keep in mind the things that I mentioned. Another important aspect of the Steam Deck when it comes to comparing it with other type of consoles is the battery life. Now, all the other PC handheld devices out there like the ROG Ally or the Legion Go don't come even close when it comes to battery life with the Steam Deck. So the Steam Deck battery life, even though it's not the best if you compare it with something else like the Nintendo Switch for example, then it's not doing that great, but for a PC handheld device, trust me, the battery life is way better than all of these other ones. If I want to take this while traveling, especially on a plane, and play a bit of games, then the Steam Deck is the console to get. Now, I said a lot of things and I kind of rambled here and on about comparing it with other consoles, what kind of improvements did Valve bring to the table and all that. But keep in mind that without the Steam Deck, none of this would happen. We wouldn't have these amazing devices and other companies like Asus, Legion, and even Microsoft, because as I said, they have partnered with Asus to make the ROG Ally. So if you see these big companies caring about these devices, then it means that the market is there for sure, and sales will prove these kind of things. And I know a lot of you out there are really happy with whatever console you chose. Now we got a bunch of different options, especially even for Valve. We get the regular model, now we have the OLED one, which unfortunately I haven't picked up. Now, if you think that the Steam Deck hasn't made big waves like I believe in this gaming market, then do consider this. The Linux gaming, even though it wasn't new, for sure it wasn't doing that great. There wasn't too much support, only the hardcore developers and gamers were trying to build a couple of games and all of these amazing titles available on Linux. But with the addition of the Steam Deck, the support for Linux games has gone through the roof, and we even see some other big players like Apple with their Mac OS systems that you may have seen that now we get limited support, but we do get proper gaming on macOS systems. Maybe that's not related, but I do believe that the Steam Deck has made the Linux community, gaming community especially, a lot better since it was released. And I think that support for it will continue on growing. And I know for sure that Valve, with the release of the Steam Deck 2, which I'm not sure when it will come out, but for sure they will continue on using Steam OS because people love it, and most of you out there prefer it over Windows. And to be honest, because I do prefer other games that are not available on Steam Deck, and I mostly use my ROG Ally compared with the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck mostly has been sitting right on my desk without even playing a game for the past couple of weeks, or maybe even a month. I will never sell my Steam Deck. This will be always kept around me. It's close to my heart. And actually, this is the reason why this channel is here right now. It all started with one of the Steam Deck videos. I don't even remember which one it was, but it was the first one that blew up. And ever since, I completely changed the content that I'm doing here on the channel. I'm really happy that this happened because I love gaming, and especially handheld gaming, and there isn't a place I'd rather be in this moment. So there you have it, guys. 2 years of Steam Deck. What do you think? Have you ever used one or bought one in these 2 years? Which version do you own currently? And which handheld device do you actually prefer on using? Let's talk about handheld gaming and Steam Deck and all these kind of things down in the comments, because I love to hear from you. So let's have a chat. So I'll see you over there, and until next time, this is the Tech Unravel, and I'll catch you in the next video.